Hey guys, Finisher here, bringing you Blood Death Knight tanking guide. I'm going to be teaching you rotations best to hold aggro. Also, rotation is to do the most damage single target. Then I'm going to talk about its defensive cooldowns, how to use them appropriately. Then we're going to briefly go into the stat priority for Death Knights. Okay, so there's about 3 stages to the rotation. First of all, we need to get diseases up and spread them. Spread damage, spread pressure, spread aggro. Then we need to set up our death runes. More death runes we're going to have up, basically the more AoE we're going to do, and then we're going to sustain as much AoE damage as possible to just basically hold aggro. Okay, so the first stage, 2 methods. You can open with an Outbreak, pretty simple to get your diseases up, or you can open with this macro. You're going to use Icy Touch and Plague Strike in a cast sequence. So, I'm going to demonstrate the cast sequence macro. Icy Touch and Plague Strike once you're in range. Then you're going to simply open with a Blood Boil. It's going to spread your diseases. You may want to use 2, as you know, when people get closer. And that is the end of stage 1. So stage 2 is pretty simple. You need to get all your runes into death runes, all the frost runes and unholy runes. Simply, all you got to do is 2 death strikes. That's it. So to sustain good amount of AoE pressure and aggro, all you have to do is spam Heart Strike. Make sure diseases are up, and spam the Heart Strikes, and use Blood Boil whenever you need to replenish your diseases. Last thing, Runic Power. Runic Power. We burn this with ability called Rune Strike. You want to use this when you have a lot of runes, because you're gonna go for the talent Runic Corruption. It helps replenish 2 runes at once. So there's no point using it when you have only 1 rune off cooldown. But you want to use it when you have more than 2 runes, because it's going to benefit more, because it's going to replenish 2 runes at once, and it's going to increase the speed where your runes come off cooldown. When your runes come off cooldown quicker, the more AoE pressure you can do. Okay, the best way to use Taunt is actually not as an opener, but rather to, if you take down a pack of mobs, and you notice that, well, one of them's not attacking you, that's when you need to use Taunt. You need to use Taunt at last resort, because really you can open generating a lot of aggro and holding aggro just by using AoE rather than opening with a taunt. You want to save taunt for certain situations. Okay, so let's briefly talk about defensive cooldowns. Really common sense, really. You want to be using your defensive cooldowns when you drop below 50% health. That's the best time to start using them. To help your healers, or to help your healers get you back to full health. Let's briefly talk about Dancing Rune Weapon. This is actually a defensive cooldown, because when you use this, you want to be using as much death strikes as possible if you're using it defensively, because it's going to double the times the death strike occurs. So it's going to double the bubble that you put on yourself with your mastery. Okay, so for your single target pressure, you're going to focus more. Obviously you want to get your diseases more, but you're going to focus more on death strikes and heart strikes rather than using blood boils to spread aggro, because you don't need to spread aggro. But obviously it's very important to keep doing the damage. So obviously use rune strikes when you have as much runes on cooldown as possible, just to benefit you more. And you just spam basically heart strikes and death strikes, and it's pretty much the rotation is very forgiving. It's very hard to make mistakes. Of course, it's very valuable to use Soul Reaper. A little note also, when you use Dancing Rune Weapon with Soul Reaper, the debuff of Soul Reaper is actually doubled. Let's go into the priorities, stat priorities. First of all, you're going to need 7.5% expertise and hit. So they're your caps, right? Then after that, when you start focusing on damage, you want to reforge as much as you can into mastery. That is the best stat. And then after mastery, you want to start reforging into parry. And then it's dodge, and then haste. Obviously, stamina is your main stat you want to be gemming into as well. That's because that's a priority attribute. Okay, so when it comes to talents, I'm not going to tell you exactly what talents to go for. You need to see the talents for the problem at hand, well, the raid boss at hand. But what I'm going to tell you to definitely go for is Runic Corruption, without a shadow of a doubt, and Rolling Blood when you're taking down AoE. The rest, versatile for any boss fight. What I'm going to tell you now, Lichborne, better self-heal. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it, because you know, you can use your intelligence. Actually, I will talk about the healing macros. Conversion is really good for strong, long fights, because you know you're going to constantly keep a heal up on yourself. Death Pact, the problem is it's a cooldown, but it's a good defensive cooldown. If it's kind of boss where you suddenly take a massive amount of damage, then Death Pact is going to be really helpful. Okay, guys, that's pretty much all I can teach you. It's a very, very simple class to play. I'm going to be honest, for tanking. It is pretty fun. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's fun, and it's probably one of the strongest classes. It's probably the best survival classes in the game as well. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I know this is different to my normal PvP guys, but what the hell. Thanks for watching the video. Adieu.